So if you're in the 3D printing business and you're not doing this, then you're walking on thin ice. And I know that because I almost lost my entire business a few years ago just from ignoring this one simple thing. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to protect your 3D printing business by adding a second income stream without starting over, without abandoning what you already built, and without turning your life upside down. Because 3D printing alone, well, it's great, but one income stream is dangerous. Now, personally, I don't print little trinkets. I print custom parts because I'd rather print one part for 500 bucks than 100 for 500 bucks. Now, it's the same 500, but it's not the same business. It's one customer, one transaction, and one problem solved, not 100 messages, 100 shipments, and 100 headaches. And having that mindset, it changed everything for me. Even that isn't enough, because if you're printing high-ticket parts, if it's your only revenue stream, then you're still exposed. And that's where this comes in. Diversification, not putting all your 3D printed eggs in one basket, because you don't want to be in the position I was in where one single thing can tank your business. So several years ago with my construction business, when I first started out, I got really lucky and I got this really big customer. And our first year, we were on track to make almost $1 million in our first year. And so I kind of had my blinders on, everything was going good, the money was rolling in, until one day, for no fault of my own, we lost that customer. Ever since then, I had always told myself I was never gonna rely on one single thing as an income source. So I chose to diversify my 3D printing business last year with adding 3D printing content, which is what you're watching now. And then I added my own brand of filaments, and I've already launched one called Morphex TPU, which we're sold out of black at the moment, so sorry for that. And I just recently added Slicer Ninja, which is launching on Kickstarter real soon. If you want to check that out and support the project, I think it'll be huge for anyone who uses it. So Slicer Ninja takes any STL file and automatically sets the settings for you. It optimizes the print for supports and does everything for you and gives you a 3MF file you can then take to your favorite slicer and just hit print. So now I'm gonna go a step further and add DTF printing. And for that, I chose the Lancelot M1630 DTF printer. And no, this isn't a printer review, it's a business strategy. Because what I'm about to show you isn't about starting a t-shirt brand. It's about turning your existing 3D printing customers, your skills, your niche, into another revenue stream without reinventing your business. So you're already into 3D printing, so you understand problem solving, you understand niche customers and branding. So let me give you an example. If you design custom automotive brackets, why not also sell mechanic themed apparel? And if you create gaming accessories, let's say, why not also sell gaming related apparel? Because it's the same audience, same brand, different product, and they're already on your website. Why not give them more options to look at? And that's diversification done right. So I chose DTF because it's easy, accessible, and the results you get from DTF is absolutely insane. And there's no weeding like you would have to do with a Cricut machine with the vinyl. And it integrates easily into what I'm already doing. I didn't want something that required a whole new setup. I wanted something that fit into my ecosystem, and typically you choose something that solves an existing problem for you. I always needed shirts printed, and I was tired of having to pay someone to do it for me. This way, you diversify your income and you solve a problem for your business at the same time. So with DTF, it's super easy. You're gonna have to start out with the design. So you can go online and you can purchase designs, or you can go design your own on canva.com. That's what I choose to use. There's plenty of vendors out there that sell packs. So you can buy like 100 designs, 50 designs, 500 designs, and then you get them as a wholesale, and then you basically part them out. So if, let's say you get 100 designs for 100 bucks, well then you would turn around and sell those designs for $3 or $4 each, tripling and quadrupling your profit. So you don't just have to make t-shirts, you can actually make the print themselves and sell the patches and let whoever buys it iron the patch on whatever they want to. And that's way less overhead, way less work. All you really have to do is find the design and hit print and ship it out. That's it. But I'm gonna walk you through the process and how I go about doing my DTF prints. And that's considering I already have a design file. We're gonna start out with a design file. We're gonna take it to the printer. We're gonna print it, and then we're gonna take it to post-processing. From there, we're gonna go to the t-shirt. And then after that, I'll show you where you can post them for sale, how much you can charge for them, and what your profit's gonna be. And of course, that'll vary per person and location, but this will give you a general idea of DTF printing for profit and if it'll work for you. All right, let me give you a rundown on the Lancelot 1630 Pro. So this is a A3 DTF printer. So you're printing up to about 13 inches wide, which is perfect for full-size shirt designs, hoodies, bags, and all that. One of the big things here is the white ink circulation system. If you've ever used DTF or seen videos, you know white ink is the problem child. So this thing keeps it moving so it doesn't settle and clog everything up. It also has automatic cleaning built in, which is holiday mode. It'll automatically clean when it's sitting idle. It runs maintenance cycles to help keep the head from drying out, and that's huge for reliability. There's also an automatic film cutter, which saves you from trimming every print hand by hand. It's a small feature, but it speeds up the workflow for sure. So most kits come pretty complete. The printer, you're gonna have your inks and your glue and your software, and mine even came with a laptop. And so you're not piecing everything together yourself. You'll get this pretty much as a ready-to-go kit, and it's faster than those old converted desktop DTF setups, and it supports both roll and film, and when it's set up right, it prints absolutely amazing, just like the factories. Now, like any DTF machine, you still need to maintain it. This is not a zero maintenance printer, nor is any DTF printer. But overall, if you're running a small shop or trying to scale without jumping into industrial pricing, this checks a lot of boxes. Now, the maintenance on this thing isn't anything that's gonna break the bank. It's just a little bit of legwork and you're done. But let's go over the process of actually making a DTF print, getting it to the heat press and actually making a t-shirt, or just showing you the actual print itself if you decide just to sell the prints and not even do t-shirts. So the first step is you're going to want to get on the laptop that came with your printer if you have this printer, and it comes with the pre-installed software, and you want to use their software obviously because that's why they sent you the laptop. Now you'll bring in your image into the software, and you'll have to always remember before you do anything else, make sure you flip the image, and you'll see how to flip the image in this top right corner right here. And if you don't do this, it's gonna print it just like it looks, and when you go to do it on the t-shirt, it's gonna be backwards. So you got to make it backwards when you print, so whenever you press it, it comes out normal. And I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten to do this, so now I make it a thing to do it as soon as I bring the photo into the software. It's the first thing I do before I get distracted. So then once you have it how you want it in size and double check everything, then all you really have to do is hit print. It's going to come out on the printer, and then the printer is going to automatically cut that piece off for you, and then you'll take that and go over to your powdered glue station. Now, my glue station is actually one of my wife's baking dishes, and she actually asked me about it the other day, and I was like, yeah, I don't know where it's at, but yeah, we're doing powdered glue in here in the studio, and it works good. Honestly, I would just go to Walmart and get you a big plastic dish, and that's what I'm gonna do. I've just been using this and I get busy. But you want to sprinkle the powdered glue all over. Be sure not to touch the back of that DTF print when it's wet because you'll ruin it. Even after you get the glue on there, you can't touch it until after you bake it. And yeah, I said we're gonna bake it. And no, we're not taking it to the kitchen. The Lancelot comes with a baking oven, depending on what package you buy. And so now we'll take it over here to the baking oven. We'll throw it in here. It's got timers and everything, and you can set your temps to what you think it should be. I just use the standard. I just hit start here, and it beeps annoyingly loud whenever it's done. And you'll want to be careful because I really don't know if the fumes that come out of this thing are toxic, so I just get away from it. And honestly, you can hook up a vent hose to the top of this and vent it out, kind of like you do a laser engraving machine. But hey, that's up to you. This is how I do it. I just leave and try not to breathe the fumes. As you can see, when you pull it out of the oven, if you just let it cool real briefly, you can touch it within a few seconds, and then you've got yourself a print. Now what you do with it is up to you, whether you want to sell it or you want to stick it on a t-shirt and sell that, or stick it on a backpack, a hat, whatever it may be. I'm gonna stick this print on a t-shirt. That way I can show you the process. And then I'll be using the Viver automatic heat press. This one is about $300 something. There are ones that are a lot cheaper. I like this one because it's automatic. You just hit a button and it goes down. It does the pressure and everything for you. And it has the slide out tray and everything. Now this just does one shirt at a time. They have other ones that do 2 shirts at a time. So if you're gonna get all fancy, yeah, there's machines you can look into. So you'll put it on your heat press at your desired temperature. This is just the temp that I'm using. You'll wanna make sure every single time that you always have the Teflon sheet to protect the print. So you'll put down your print and then press it, and then once you take it off, let it cool a little bit, and then peel off the film. And then once you get the film off, I always put it back onto the press, and then I go ahead and put the Teflon sheet over it, and then I press it again for like 10 or 15 seconds just to lock it in. And that's what I've seen everybody else do. I didn't come up with that method. I did some YouTubing. So once you've done all that, now you've got a t-shirt. It's ready to sell basically. You don't even have to put tags on it. All you need to do is put it in a bag and post it online and ship it out. That's it. And then you can go do the t-shirts. You don't have to do one print t-shirt. You can actually do 100 prints and then just go do t-shirts as you get time during the day when you're doing other stuff, because again, this is kind of a side business. You got to make sure you have your main business covered, and when you have time, you dive into this one. And that's how I've been doing it. So now for the best part, where do you sell them? So if you already sell 3D prints online, I would start there. Add apparel as an upsell, like, you know, want the matching shirt, add it for $24.99. And you can also use Etsy, Shopify, your own website, and local Facebook groups. Those actually work really well as Marketplace. So let's talk about pricing. In order to calculate that, you want to take your blank shirt cost, your transfer cost, your ink and material cost, and most importantly, your time. And then you want to aim for at least a 60 to 70% margin. And for transfers alone, it's even higher, because really the transfers alone, they don't really cost you much to make, maybe 50 cents to $1 at the very most. And you can sell those for 5 and 6 and even more, depending on how big they are. Full shirt designs can go upwards of 15 to 20 bucks just for the design, depending on what it is. And so you can test designs before committing to bulk inventory doing it like that. So it makes it low risk, which is a high upside. And honestly, that's smart scaling. Testing a few prints, putting them out there for sale, and if people bite on them, then you can just start hitting the print button. That way you're not stuck with a bunch of t-shirt inventory that you really can't get rid of. Because honestly, we all think we have great ideas, and you're thinking in your head like, oh, this is gonna sell, it's gonna be great, and then like nobody buys it, and then you got 25 or 30 t-shirts. So I highly suggest printing a few prints, putting them out there, and even maybe print one t-shirt to put out there as well, and just test the waters and see if you get a bunch of people, because it doesn't take long to make them. If people ask for them, you can come in the studio or your working space, whatever, and you can knock them out pretty quick. And that's kind of what I've done. Look, I love 3D printing, but markets change, algorithms change, suppliers change, and if all your income depends on one machine, then you're exposed. If your income depends on a system, then you're secure. And this printer is just another tool. Diversification is the real upgrade here. So if you're serious about building a real 3D printing business, not just a hobby, start thinking in layers. Like literally layers, pun intended. So drop a comment and let me know, if you're gonna do a second income stream, what's yours gonna be? Are you gonna do DTF, or are you gonna do something else? So I hope this helped you guys, and until next time, as always, stay ready to 3D print. We'll see you in the next one.